Okay, lesson 6.6 is about trapezoids and kites. Now, there's not much to say about kites, but trapezoids are a little different. The regular trapezoid, a quadrilateral with only one pair of parallel sides, there isn't anything spectacular about this. There's nothing we could say special about their diagonals. There's no characteristics that apply to all trapezoids. So what we look at is actually the isosceles trapezoid. The isosceles trapezoid is like an isosceles triangle that's been cut off. So if we take a line anywhere in this isosceles triangle and draw it parallel to the base, the bottom of this being the base, and then cut off the top so that we don't see these anymore, or the point of the triangle is gone, then what we have left is an isosceles trapezoid. Okay? Now, the sides of the isosceles triangle were called the legs. These are still the legs. But the top and bottom both now are bases. So we have to make sure that we know this vocabulary and which parts of the trapezoid that we're talking about. Now the base angles in a trapezoid are congruent. So the bottom two angles are congruent to each other, just like they would be in an isosceles trapezoid or an isosceles triangle. And the top two base angles are congruent to each other. And the legs are congruent. Okay, you're going to be using those characteristics to set up equations, so make sure you know those vocabulary and which parts are congruent to each other. Now, one more thing, just like in a parallelogram, the two sides, or the two base angles along the leg, add up to 180 degrees. Okay, because this leg would be a transversal between two parallel lines, and these would be consecutive interior angles. This angle here and this angle here would be consecutive interior angles, so they add up to 180. Okay, as far as the diagonals are concerned, the diagonals of this isosceles trapezoid are congruent. Now clearly, as we look here at this where they enter the intersection point, that does not cut those in half. But what is interesting is that the top two pieces are congruent and the bottom two pieces are congruent. Okay, let's get started.